What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of my new career mode. This is episode number 51, and we start today's episode by requesting some funds from the board. I asked for £3 million, and I told them if you give us that, we'll reach the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Just because last season we reached the semi-finals of the Champions League, and I totally think we can at least get to the quarterfinals again this season. As you can see, the board will give us £1.6 million, so that's just over half, and I just said, okay, fair enough, it's better than nothing, and at least we'll get a little bit of money from the board, and there you go. And also we see that Falco wants to terminate his contract here in the academy, and you'll see in just a moment's time I go ahead and offer him one. And also as well, Nicola Palermo putting a bid for our left back, but we asked for £5 million, which of course they are very unlikely to match. But even so yeah, we offer Falco a contract because he is now our best academy player, still in the academy after we promoted Lorenzo Motta in the last episode. And if you missed the last episode, episode number 50, highly recommend you guys go back and watch it. I did a 1 hour video for you guys, a special for you guys. It was a live transfer window. I did the Super Copper as well. It was a lot of good fun. I tried to give some tips and tricks. Hopefully I made some sense in a couple of the things I said for some of you guys out there who may not be too familiar with career mode. And there you go. So go back and watch if you missed it. It was a lot of fun. Still, Falco does indeed accept his contract. He's a 74 rated goalkeeper with the exciting prospect tag. 17 years old, so still got a lot of room to grow. He can also play CDM and CM, which is always helpful. So Falco comes in. That's a really good academy player coming out. Obviously, one of the problems is he's behind Bernie, who's a glitch goalkeeper, so he won't play too many minutes. But I will play him in the TIM Cup, and there you go. Still, Genoa came in for Bernardeschi, and I asked for £1.5 million. They said they'd go as high as 1.2. That's 100 grand less than his valuation. But Bernardeschi came in at the start of the series, and he's never really done anything too significant, and he's always been a bit of a letdown whenever I've played him. Really, I can only think of one game where he actually played quite well for me, to be honest. But Bernardeschi's gone. We make a profit on the guy. We only signed him for 500 grand at the start of the series, so we make a profit of double what we paid for him. But even so it's a shame he never really worked out, really. He's only 22 years old, don't forget, but even so, he was never really going to fit in here at Torino, and there you go. So I was thinking about replacements for wingers as well, because in this team, we actually don't have that much pace. I mean, yes, we've got some quick players, don't get me wrong, but the side isn't pace-orientated, if you know what I mean. There's not pace in every position, and even the wide men as well are sort of more technical-based, you know. So I've been looking into the possibility of signing a new winger who could be a real injection from pace from the bench. And you can see Milan rejected our bid for El Shaarawy. However, Lazio accepted our bid for Boulder Diao Keita. £6 million we put in for him. That's £2.2 million over his valuation. I put in £6 million for the guy, 21 years old, 76 overall. I had the guy actually in my West Bromwich Albion career mode when I was managing PSG, but I rarely used him. However, I did say whenever he was on the pitch, he was a really good player. So I've always sort of wanted to use him, more, I guess. I wanted to use him a bit more after playing him with PSG. I did sign in my Club and Country series in the penultimate season, in the last season even, on a pre-contract for the next year, so of course I never got to use him, but I've never really used him extensively. So now he's coming for Torino for £6 million. I'm hopeful it will turn out to be a good player, as we asked West Ham for £15 million for Darmian, which I don't think they're going to accept. And also Keita does become our third signing of the window. So one new signing in today's episode here. Keita comes in for £6 million, and yeah, I'm okay with that deal. I'm starting to think maybe I shouldn't have gone in with £6 million straight away. I did say in the last episode that usually it's best not to go over the odds right from the beginning, but when it's a player that's still young and a decent overall to begin with presumably good potential, I always think it's probably worth just to skip the first sort of initial bid and then go in for like a £1 or £2 million higher than his valuation bid. But even so, £6 million for Keita, maybe we possibly could have got him cheaper, you never know, but that's still not a bad deal whatsoever. £1 million that gets paid for by Bernardeschi leaving. So yeah, I'm okay with that deal. He comes in, he'll be an injection of pace from the bench when we need him, and I'm pretty happy with that signing. And there you go. So we take on Napoli for the first and only game of today's episode here at the Stadio Olimpico di Torino for the first game of the new Serie A season. After winning the league title last season for the first time with Torino whilst managing them, we're hoping to do it again this season and make sure it wasn't just going to be a one-time thing, and we'll be able to consistently stay top of the table most seasons. First couple of chances fell to us. Dybala's free kick there goes over the bar and it is still goalless. And that was it for the first half. And in the second half, 8 minutes after the restart, Napoli had won their first chance of the game as Gulam goes down the left-hand side, whips in a very deep cross. Mertens wins the header, but it goes into the side netting and behind for a goal kick. So still goalless at this stage, but from the goal kick we pass out from the back as per usual as Bernie finds Alex Sandro inside towards Lorenzo Motta. Motta ends up playing a good through ball towards Dybala here, and Dybala controls the ball, turns his man, then offloads it towards Danilo. Danilo goes down the right-hand side, whips it across towards Poloski, who wins the header. It ends up hitting the bar, but the referee gives a penalty to Torino directly afterwards, and we're awarded a spot kick for this challenge here by Koulibaly, which I really don't think warranted a penalty. Poloski does win the header and it does hit the bar, but Koulibaly, like, don't get me wrong, he sort of shoved him to the ground, but I don't really think it's a penalty because I don't think it was just trying to take him down. I think it was more a case of he didn't get up on time, and sort of the jump from Poloski, sort of the bodies came together at an awkward angle, and he just, couldn't really control himself really, and Poloski sort of just went over the back of him and onto the ground. So I didn't think it was a penalty myself. You can totally see why the referee would give a penalty in that situation. You can definitely see why he would deem it as unnecessary sort of shove, if you will, but I think it wasn't a penalty myself. So as per usual, when we get those penalties and we're not too sure, or we don't think it is one, we chip it down the middle, give the goalkeeper the best chance of saving it. He stays down the middle, catches the ball, and it's still Torino 0, Napoli 0, and in my opinion that is the right thing to do. So still goalless in this game. The 66th minute, Poloski went pretty close there to opening the scoring, with a shot as well saved by the goalkeeper, and in the 75th minute a good chance here as Alexandra whips in across towards Dybala, and the header ends up hitting the bar off the deflection of Jorginho and goes behind for a corner. So still 0-0 in this game. Twice we'd hit the woodwork, we were still goalless, but in the 82nd minute a good chance to make it 1-0 again. Danilo finds De Vrij as they go into to ultra attacking at this stage as Napoli were trying to defend and hold on to the point. Florenzi finds Alexandro, whips in the cross, Poloski wins the header, but it goes just wide of the post and behind for a goal kick. And that was how the game would finish as well. Torino 0, Napoli 0. So a disappointing draw in that game, and also incidentally the first time that chip penalty, if you will, has ever come back to haunt us, and we dropped points because of it. But I say come back to haunt us, I intentionally missed the penalty, but it's the first time that a chip penalty has prevented us from getting more points than we ended up getting. So either way, I'm not disappointed we decided to chip that penalty, because at the end of the day I didn't think it was a penalty, and I just felt it was the right thing to do really, as to stay consistent with what I always do. So there you go. But still a disappointing draw. We did play better. I felt we did deserve the win, but that's just how it is. And there you go. Still, Paragini is going to join Brescia on a short-term loan. As you can see, we're now into transfer deadline day right here, after West Ham wouldn't match the counter offer for Darmian. So Paragini goes out on loan to Brescia. Victor Fejo goes out on another season-long loan, this time to Empoli. This is his second season he'll spend on loan at another club, which is totally fine for me, because the Scout's future star is still quite a way off before he can get some first-team minutes here. And also as well, that was it for transfer deadline day. A pretty uneventful one, just seeing two of our players leave on loan. But we spent £32 million in this transfer window, our most expensive window so far, I'm pretty sure of that. But we got £12 million for some sales of players as well, notably Choupo-Moting. So I'm pretty happy with the business we've done. We brought in a new 80+ centre-back in De Vrij, who's had a pretty decent start to his Torino career, looks pretty solid early on. We brought in Dybala, who's already scored one goal for the club, which came in the Supercoppa against Juventus. And of course we just signed Keita as well for an impact sub, and I'm looking forward to trying him out every now and then off the bench. So yeah, I'm happy with what we did. Yes, £32 million for 3 players, does sound quite expensive, I know, but of course in this year's FIFA you do have to spend a bit over the odds nowadays for players that you really want. But at the end of the day, like, I'm happy with what we did. I feel like we did some pretty decent business. The sales of Choupo-Moting in particular was a really good one in my opinion, and Bernardeschi as well, making profits on players that never really worked out for us. So yeah, I'm happy with what we've done. And as you look at the squad right now, gradually we're making improvements. We've got more 80 rated players in the squad than ever before. We're gradually making improvements season after season. Yes, the growth problems are frustrating with some players like Florenzi, for example, and Cher, that just never will seem to grow. But even so, it's still nice to know we're still making progression despite, trying to overcome that. And the team is getting better year after year. Still following that, look at that squad report right there, the youth monthly report too, and also a look at the league table if you're so interested in after one game how it looks right now. I don't think we're going to finish in 14th, but you never know. And also the TIM Cup, we're yet to be drawn in that. But as for the Champions League, as you can see right now, we are in a group with Real Madrid, Feyenoord and St Etienne. So I think we can get through that. I definitely do. I mean, don't get me wrong, Feyenoord and St Etienne, not bad sides, but I think we should have the legs on them. But as for Real Madrid, they'll be the big one in that group, and hopefully we'll be able to at least get a point against them in one of the games and make sure that we don't end up losing both games and put us into the mix with the other two clubs. I think we should at least be aiming for second place in that group, because I think we're good enough now. And the final couple of things you'll see are 2 World Cup qualifiers with Italy, as we've been drawn in this group, which you were just seeing a moment ago there. We took on Denmark and we took on Northern Ireland as well, and as you'll see we do beat both of these nations. However, it's very, very unlikely we'll play the World Cup in just under 2 years' time with Italy, because of our very disappointing European Championship campaign in episode number 49. I'm pretty sure we're going to end up getting a sack at the end of the contract, but either way, we played the cup qualifiers anyway, and we did win them both, which which is still nice to see. But that does end the episode, guys. So as always, a big thank you for watching the video. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the episode, then please do leave a like, and I'll see you for the next episode of my new career mode very soon.